Good evening. My name is Brianna Martin, and I am presenting my findings from my symptomatic review. So the title of my paper is Character Education in High School, the relationship between character education and academic performance. My research question was, does character education have a significant impact on high school students' academic achievement, such as grade point average? Some background about character education is that character education is not new. In fact, character education has been in existence since education itself. Early Christians actually believed that character was more critical than that of intellect. Therefore, character education made its debut within curriculum up until the 1960s to 1970s, which emphasized academic achievement and placed character education on hold. Character education since then has the popularity of it has yo-yoed. Reasons why character education has yo-yoed is for three reasons. One, there's no clear definition of character education. Two, because of high stakes tests, there is little room to actually teach character education. And three, there is a debate between educators on the place of character education in the classroom. So, what is the place of character education in the classroom? To look at a definition for character education, I took on Brickwitt's definition of character education, which is as an individual, sets of psychological characteristics that affects the person's ability and inclination to function morally. So to find articles for this paper, I used three databases: Google Scholar, EBSCOhost, and Education Full Text. Some key terms that I utilize is like character, program, high school, outcomes, evaluation, ethics, social emotional, character instruction, moral instruction, and values education. Criteria for considering studies for this paper is that it had to be published after 2009. The studies had to be conducted here in the United States. They had to be conducted in a high school setting, and they had to utilize a character program. Three types of studies that I reviewed were a method analysis, case study, and a narrative inquiry. One example of an excluded study was design, implement, and evaluation of an educational program effects on academic performance. This study was not considered because two things. One, it did not occur here in the United States. Two, it did not happen in a high school setting. So my outcomes that I wanted to look at was the students' academic achievement, and that was measured by grade point average and standardized test scores. Another example of an excluded article was the effect of school-based programs to enhance pro-social development on children's peer relation and social adjustment. This article was not accepted because it did not focus on academics, but more so on behavioral. Again, my search study took place through EBSCOhost, Google Scholar, and Educational Full Text. I found a total of 1,665 articles, which then when I went through and reviewed titles, I accepted 100 titles. From those titles, I went to review 30 abstracts. Within those 30 abstracts, 13 articles I fully read. From those fully read articles, 3 met the criteria of my research. From one of my articles, I looked at its reference section and discovered 2 other articles that met the criteria, giving me a total of 5 articles. The first article is from June 2009. I'm sorry, 2019, and this method analysis actually looked at 52 studies, looking at K through 12th grade and the impact of character education on academics. Well, for me, I focused strictly on his results from K through, I'm sorry, not K, but 9th through 12th grade. And what was found was that high school students actually had a higher increase in academic GPAs than that of their elementary and middle school counterparts. So character education actually impacts high schoolers more than that of elementary and middle school. Gene's other study that I reviewed occurred in 2009. Here he looked at biblical knowledge and how much knowledge students had about the Bible, and that and how they utilize moral education from studying the Bible and its impact on academic achievement. And what he found in this study is no matter whether the students attended a private school or public school, if they had a higher knowledge about the Bible, they had a higher GPA versus if they did not, they had a lower GPA. The next study from Johnson and all is that he looked at trade schools and how the high school setting of the trade school, and one sample was giving character education, the other sample was not giving character education. And what Johnson and his team found is that students that were giving the character education had a significant higher GPA than that of the sample that was not giving the character education. My next study looked at narratives and interviewed 3 high school principals about their character education program and its impact on students. And from this study, what was found was there was a small increase in students' GPA, but what they found mostly was a higher behavioral impact. And so their character education program mostly impacted students non-academically. So it helps students resolve conflict. It helps students gain responsibility and accountability. It strengthened the school's culture, and it also gave students a better appreciation for other people, themselves, and the environment. So it looked more so at non-academics, but it did talk about the academics and show that there was a small increase. My last final study was a case study that looked at one particular type of character education program, and this program had been implemented in these 3 high schools for 5 years. And what the findings of this study concluded was that when students went through this character education program, it showed a significant increase in academics as well as their composite score for ACT. So my overall findings is that there's a positive relationship between character education and student achievement. From there, my conclusion is that, and what I found from my studies is that when character education is most effective is when it is incorporated in the school plan and everyday systems. So another thing that these studies have in common is that these things were not just implemented in one particular classroom. It was actually implemented in a whole system, and compared to that of a non-whole system. So once character education is implemented and has buy-in from the whole community, it is more effective and has a stronger relationship with increasing academic achievement. So some future research that can take place is will and skill of teachers and teaching character education, the training and professional development that teachers need to effectively teach character education, and the impact that school leaders have on character education programs and how it impacts student achievement. And that concludes